them. The Watts Sykes folks, we cheer for them. It doesn't make a difference to everybody at the top. We don't really care one way or the other.
1 minute.
Thank you.
Well, the one's had 18 violations, but the owner of the property has been dead for 7 years, so.
We'll send them an email and tell them we'll take his American
Well, they
Express to
keep
make
sending, I don't know, it's like Alan says, who sends the notice?
There's no address.
Yeah. I see Ian Tabor, he's dead,
I think he's on there twice too. Oh, probably on both reports.
probably. Yep, he's been gone for, he was a city employee.
I thought I recognized
Worked
the
at
name.
the art center.
So should we go dig him up?
He's in violation. Damn it. I just want to know how they serve him.
Great.
Put, roll it up, put it on a stick.
Bob Rocket.
Yeah, yeah.
I like to be able to read a newspaper in my lap, not on a computer. That type.
He and his wife got a divorce, or he
And you can't,
got sick or something, and then
you read engineering.
Stuck on
reports
10.
like that, you want
and
to
then he
know
died.
notes.
There we go.
And there was no, they did nothing with the house. And it's just sitting there, it's a duplex. It's just falling apart.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to call tonight's meeting to order, September 13th of 2018, the Muscatine City Council meeting. Cinda, will you please do the roll call?
Councilmember Spread,
Present.
Harvey,
Present.
Rockert,
Present.
Saucedo,
Present.
Hackett,
Present.
Fitzgerald,
Present.
Malcolm,
Present.
7 present, 0 absent.
Thank you, Cinda. Well, we have two things on the agenda tonight. Tonight's what we call the in-depth meeting, so we dispense with a lot of the formalities, have some presentations to learn more about specific topics. We have two things we're going to talk about tonight, and the first thing is parking, and we're going to have our Public Works Director, Brian Steinman, take the lead.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So the question has been posed about handicap parking on Mississippi Drive and Lynn Street area in front of the brewery and the nutrition outlet. So what I've got on the board and what you all should have in front of you is a copy of what was proposed and existing. So if you look at the left-hand side of your diagram, it shows the handicap symbol with a circle around it. That was the spot that was originally designed and constructed for ADA parking on this section of Mississippi Drive. There's a similar one across the block from Lynn Street that is in there as well. It's constructed and it's still there. And then by request of council and the property owner or the owner of the nutrition outlet, we added the spot with the H around it in front of that location. So if I understand the question that was posed correctly, the question is, can we have both on that same block? And the answer as far as staff is concerned is yes, we can if council so chooses. The issue that I see that I've heard of with the one that's in front of nutrition outlet now, I'm just going to call it the H spot because that's what it says on the map, is as far as back-end parking, how you load or unload that spot. The spots were designed to unload from the passenger side, assuming that you had a wheelchair that you needed to load for your passenger or yourself. I personally don't know how that works. So the one that is in front of the brewery has the ramp accessible right off the passenger side. So you exit the vehicle on the passenger side, you hit the ramp, and you go on your way. The one at the H spot does not have that because of the back-end parking. It is accessible to unload from the driver's side. If the driver is ADA or has the disability or whatever they need to get out, they had the space there. Unfortunately, we do not have, as you'll note, the ramp to get you up onto the sidewalk. So if we were going to leave that spot there, staff recommends that we put a ADA ramp in that median that's there, that bump out, if you will, which can be done. And then that would make that spot accessible from that location. You still would have the issue, however, if your passenger is disabled, that this probably isn't the ideal spot for you because you don't have that room on the passenger side to disembark the vehicle, if you will. The other question that was asked was, could we add another spot on Lynn Street around the corner. And the short answer to that is no, because of the grade there would not be compliant with ADA regulations. We need a 2% cross slope, and that slope on that street is actually at 10%. So that is infeasible to put one there. It doesn't make sense. It would be creating a hazard, if you will. So that's pretty much what I have. Are there any questions or comments?
Council?
My comment would be, I like the recommendation you're making. That fits everything, for the most part, that I would like to see, and anything beyond what you've suggested, I would have been a hope for me, but I'm okay with that recommendation, to put that other spot back. That gets the van accessibility, and cut the ramp on that bump out there, so that people that don't need the van accessibility but need the driver's side accessibility, that covers everything. And I agree, putting a handicap accessible spot on the hill, if there's too much of a grade, that would be
Agreed.
It wouldn't be functional.
Council?
Hi, Brian.
Hi.
Let me ask a question for this H spot. We talked about putting accessible ramp. Where would you recommend, or can the traffic committee look at and make a recommendation of where to put the accessible ramp? Are you going to put it driver's side, rear, kind of like rear? I mean, what works best is
Our preferred location is in the bump out, kind of in the middle of that, because we have that empty space there.
Okay.
Anything that we do behind that, we're going to have to adjust all of our sidewalk grades, remove the planters that are existing, and it makes it quite a bit more difficult and expensive.
Okay.
I didn't draw it on there, but maybe I can highlight it on here if I can get a cursor.
It makes it quite a bit more difficult and expensive.
Right about there, somewhere.
Great.
I didn't
Is where we would look to put it.
And I went out and I spoke to the business owners
right about there.
because they used to have like almost right up to their door parking.
Sure.
And what you're suggesting right now fits in line very much with what I believe they would find like almost right up perfectly workable. That's my understanding based on my conversation right now. Not to speak for them directly, but very much with what based on my understanding of it, that would perfectly work, completely fit their needs. That's my understanding based on my conversation right now. Not to speak for them directly, but very much with what based on my
All I would ask for, all I think I need is consensus from the council.
That's my understanding based on my conversation right now. Not to speak for them directly, but very much with what based on my
All I would ask for, all I think I need is consensus from the council.
That's my understanding based on my conversation right now. Not to speak for them directly, but very much with what based on my
All I would ask for, all I think I need is consensus from the council.
That's my understanding based on my conversation right now. Not to speak for them directly, but very much with what based on my
All I would ask for, all I think I need is consensus from the council.
That's my understanding based on my conversation right now. Not to speak for them directly, but very much with what based on my
All I would ask for, all I think I need is consensus from the council.
That's my understanding based on my conversation right now. Not to speak for them directly, but very much with what based on my
All I would ask for, all I think I need is consensus from the council.
That's my understanding based on my conversation right now. Not to speak for them directly, but very much with what based on my
All I would ask for, all I think I need is consensus from the council.
That's my understanding based on my conversation right now. Not to speak for them directly, but very much with what based on my
All I would ask for, all I think I need is consensus from the council.
That's my understanding based on my conversation right now. Not to speak for them directly, but very much with what based on my
All I would ask for, all I think I need is consensus from the council.
That's my understanding based on my conversation right now. Not to speak for them directly, but very much with what based on my
All I would ask for, all I think I need is consensus from the council.
That's my understanding based on my conversation right now. Not to speak for them directly, but very much with what based on my
All I would ask for, all I think I need is consensus from the council.
That's my understanding based on my conversation right now. Not to speak for them directly, but very much with what based on my
All I would ask for, all I think I need is consensus from the council.
That's my understanding based on my conversation right now. Not to speak for them directly, but very much with what based on my
All I would ask for, all I think I need is consensus.
There are ways to meet the needs of
This is an outlier. This is a request that came from Councilman Malcolm to look at this issue, so we have. I don't disagree with this is an outlier or Councilman Spread. This is a request. We have required number of spaces is for the ADA requirements for this project. So this one would be in addition to that. It does open up, they have a slippery slope, you add one here, and then somebody wants to go somewhere else, and somewhere else, and somewhere else. I understand that. They requested a spot closer to their front door, and that was the best spot that we could offer them with the layout of the parking. They requested, that's actually existing right now.
There's a sign there now, there's just no wheelchair ramp.
The other,
Well, because I don't see the wheelchair.
It was, because what you're looking at is original design plans for this section of roadway, so it wasn't there originally. So this is, the H has been hand drawn on there to show where it is now. It was, because what you're looking at is original design plans for this section of roadway, so it wasn't there originally. So this is, the
the
H
other
has
thing
been
that's
hand drawn
different
on
here,
there
if I
to show
could,
where it
can
is.
I,
Because what you're looking at
the
is
other thing
original
that's
design.
different is that street right there, there's a whole lot of parking spaces there for people that don't have any limitations on their mobility. And so, that's parking, then there's no other businesses right there that typically use those during the same time that, Concord might need it. So, that's parking, there's differences there anyway, so having it be an outlier is less concerning to me, because there's already a lot of extra parking.
And I think one of the concerns there, the need to cross Lynn Street, I would submit that's not a street, that's a parking lot.
I don't have
It
a
doesn't have near the traffic.
Right, I don't have a concern with that at all, and if it came back that the consensus was that the original spot be put back and that was the only thing that we did, the way the other one, I probably would agree with that, but my preference would be that we have both of those, because this business, the primary business that's open most of the time in that section of that street has always catered, the salon portion of it is primarily catered to people that do have restricted mobility issues, and so if you go down there and spend any time at all with those people, you will see that the people coming in and out of there need that accessibility, and they've been used to it for the entire time that they've been there, because they had just almost up to the door parking. Whether that was the right way to do it or not, I don't know, but if it wasn't, that should have been dealt with by staff a long time ago, if that was the case, but it's been allowed. So at this point, we've restricted severely what they were used to. And so I'm only asking them to make a small accommodation, and at this point, what we've built severely to allow their business not to be impacted any further than it has been already. So I'm only asking them to make a small accommodation.
I also added an advantage to
allow their business not to be impacted any further than it has been already.
contrary place now having, I also added a nightly entertainment too. This will probably allow other people with mobility issues who might not have participated in the shows at night, so now they have a couple extra spots, plus there's still plenty of parking, like I said, on the street. I see this as a win for the people who have these special needs, and it's a win for the businesses who are seeking the patrons. I see this as a win for, yeah, we might comply with the ADA law, businesses, but it's a nice feeling to know that we have, when I've said, we're gonna go an extra mile for those that need our help. But it's a nice feeling to know that.
Thank you. Councilman Fitzgerald?
What about, if you're concerned about parking
We're gonna go an extra mile for those that need our help.
over on the far side,
Thank you.
Carroll?
Councilman Fitzgerald?
What about, if you're concerned about parking, there's really not a business along there that you just pull that one out,
Councilman Fitzgerald?
just make it regular parking. Then you still have two along there in that area, rather than three, just make it regular, you're providing another spot for an able-bodied person to have two.
Yeah, no,
In that
that's
area.
still actually accessible.
Providing another spot for an able-bodied person.
No, that one's closer. I guess what I would say is we can do whatever council directs us to do. So I'm kind of throwing it at the mercy of you at this point. Whatever decision you make, what I would say, as long as there's consensus, we can direct the contractors to do that work. And we're going to throwing it at the mercy of you at this possible. I don't want to promise a timeline now. We are trying to get Mississippi Drive wrapped up and open. This is what could happen after the street's been open because it's off the paved route. Whatever, I don't anticipate that's probably what would happen in this case. We are trying to get as far as taking out a spot, and that's simple. It's just painting over paint. But to put the spot where the H is, I know it's going to require a bit of work for us to put the curve and build bars to the ADA spot. That's just painting over paint.
Brian, do we know how much
Spot where
this
the
is
H
going
is, I know it's going to require a bit of work. We anticipate around $1,000.
I like what you brought to us, you know, that, and if it's a matter of, you know, cutting the curb at a later date to make the ramp, if we put the other spot back in place, that provides a ramp and accessibility, and if it's a matter of the other spot, cutting the curb at a later date works for make the ramp, is fine, put the other spot back in place, that
Is
provides
that
a ramp.
acceptable to you, Councilman Melton?
Accessibility.
Yes, Your Honor, I think that's more than acceptable. I think it's a win-win for the businesses, win-win for the citizens.
Councilman Fitzgerald, to you, Councilman Melton?
Yes, Your Honor, I think that's more than acceptable. I think it's a win-win for the businesses.
Councilman Harvey? Councilman Fitzgerald?
I like to have one new one, but I'm gonna leave that third one upstream side of Lynn Street. So there's three.
That's what we're talking about. Councilman Spread?
Yeah, I'm opposed to 3. I'd like to see us
Upstream side of Lynn Street. So
front
there's
JK
three.
button if we're gonna.
Sounds like we have consensus with 6
I'm
to
opposed to
move forward.
Okay, so just so I can make sure I got this correct, we will reinstall the one in front of the brewery, and then we will make accommodations to construct the ramp. Just so I can at the H location, that's correct, and we will leave the one on the other side of Lynn Street as is for now. Brewery. Very good. We will make accommodations to
cutouts to
construct the
happen
ramp.
when
Just so I can at the
staff
H
has
location, that's correct, and we will leave the one
I think
on the other side of Lynn Street as is for now. Brewery. Very good. We'll make accommodations. Yeah, we always evaluate use. So
Evaluate the need for that point in front of that location.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm not attached to the one in front of J&K,
Yeah,
but.
we
if
always
you know, if it
evaluate
comes,
use.
If there's a need to remove that one, I don't have any opposition to that. I agree, and I'm not attached to the one in front of J&K, but.
we always evaluate
Gaining one spot by eliminating that,
If there's a need to remove
doing
that
anybody any good.
I don't have any
But I do have a good question.
I'm not attached to the one in
And granted, I haven't driven by these gaining late spot by eliminating their sign for handicap. I do have also had that blue curve. And granted,
I don't believe the blue curve is there yet. They are signed right now, and we can add the blue curve when we go in there and repaint.
I would suggest that based on my
Yeah.
experience that happened on Second Street.
Yeah, that's not, I don't believe the blue curve
Sometimes
is there
people
yet.
don't look
They
up
are
and see
signed right now, and we can add the blue curve when we go in there and repaint.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next, we're gonna have Dave Gobin come up and introduce a new staff person to us. We're lucky to get her from Bi-State. Appreciate it. Next, we're gonna have Dave Gobin come up and introduce a new staff person to us. We're lucky to get her from Bi-State.
wanted to introduce you to the
Next, we're
person
gonna
that
have
we
Dave
hired
Gobin
to
come up and
take the mayor
introduce a new
position
staff
at council
person to us. We're lucky
community
to get
development
her from
coordinator.
Bi-State.
Wanted to introduce, and she has been with Bi-State for about 5 years, and I've been working with her since I've been here. And she has been with Bi-State. Her name is Lindsay Whitson. I've been working with her credential. I've been here, and she's about ready to do her first presentation. Lindsay Whitson, and I'm glad I had a chance to
Thank you,
introduce
Dave.
her.
And welcome, Lindsay. I've had the opportunity to work with Lindsay since I took office, so I've had about 3 years. She has done Region 9 transportation. I've had the opportunity to work with Lindsay so been working hard on the trails and all kinds of stuff for us for quite a while. So you're going to talk to us a little bit more about the ADA parking policy draft trails and all kinds of stuff for us for quite a while. So you're going to talk to us a little bit more about the ADA
along with the traffic committee have been
trails and all kinds of stuff
on
for us
streets
for quite a while. So you're going to talk to us a little bit more about the ADA.
the traffic committee. Like I said, we've been working with the traffic committee and I've incorporated their edits into this draft that I'll be discussing. Like I said, we've been working with the so I'm just gonna outline the structure of the policy and the major topics that are included in that. And this policy will mostly affect. I'm just gonna outline the structure of the policy and the major topics that are. The first item is we outline what is considered eligible criteria to apply for this space and what's ineligible. I won't list all of those items, but the first item is we outline some of what would include an eligible applicant would have to have the state permitted handicap or the state issued handicap permit, as well as would be a year-round resident, and they would have to provide their address to show that they live in close proximity of the space that they're requesting. There are a couple also outlines the application process, so what the applicant would need to do to request this space. Policy also outlines the application. There is an actual application that we've developed. It's pretty straightforward. Name, address, handicap permit, things like that. A narrative as to why you're requesting the space that we've developed. It's pretty straightforward. And then with the approval process, it would be taken to the traffic committee where the committee would review it and then or they would provide a recommendation to the city council to either approve the application or committee would review it and if approved, then the signs would be installed and the applicant is required to pay a fee, which would cover the installation and the removal of the signs. And then each year, the applicant is required to reapply on the same application for the space, just to prove that they're still living in the same house. And then each year, the applicant handicap permit is not expired or revoked or things like that. That process would just be the traffic committee reviewing the applicants reviewing their application each year and approving it. We don't feel that it needs to go to the city council if it's just being reauthorized. Reviewing their and then the reasons for the removal are also listed on this policy. There's a handful, but just a couple. The city obviously could remove the sign if the reasons for the removal are also applicant has moved or is deceased or their handicap. The city obviously state issue handicap permit has revoked, applicant has expired, or things like that. If the applicant decides that they're not satisfied with the city council's decision, there is an appeals process that they can follow. And then lastly, the policy does outline what types of parking spaces are allowed at the location and technical standards that should be followed in regards like ADA regulations. What types of parking spaces are allowed at the location. Just some of the updates to this policy. There was one before, but we've just we've revised the application process. Reauthorization is still required on an annual basis. There's no annual fee for that. We've required application and documents that go with it. You're no longer required to be a homeowner. You can be a renter. And we've also included language that discusses the technical standards in the policy as far as federal regulations. We've used some language from the PROAG, which is the Public Right-of-Way Accessibility Guidelines. And currently that document is being updated, but once finalized, we'll update the language as necessary because it is mandatory to that documents with that. And then this last slide just kind of goes over the authorization steps, and we've listed it in this last slide on the actual application itself as well as in the policy that this is a space that any driver with this disabled on the actual permit can use this space. It's not a reserved parking space. The applicant is required to sign stating that they understand that concept. And then final authorization of the space is again based on eligibility of the application, location and specs of the parking space, and it's got to be in compliance with city and state code as well as by federal regulations. And then there may be some rare circumstances, but the city does have the ability to approve enact federal regulations case by case basis. And then there may be some rare circumstances, but the city does
How much does it cost?
We don't have a final price yet. That would be something that.
Is that just the first year, or do they have to pay that every November?
That would just be the first year. We don't have a final price yet to cover the installation and removal fee.
Is that just the first year, or do they have to pay that every year?
That would just be the first year. We don't have a final price yet to cover
On the renewal,
Just the first
do they get something mailed out to them?
Every year we're gonna determine what department would do that, but they would send out the application, and then by a certain day they'd have to send it back in.
Is that not currently in
We're
place?
gonna
That's a
determine
new
what
piece to
department
this.
would do that, but they would send out the application, and then by a certain day they'd have to send it back in.
Is that not, she said there was one, has it just been updated to this?
Yeah. But the annual renewal, she said, was new. But I was just curious if it was something where we send out the notification and let the rate. I just didn't want people to have to remember on the first of the month. Yeah, I was rather curious.
There'll be a reminder, we'll have auditing, if you will, here in YouTube. Just to answer the question, the proposed fee would be the cost of the sign, installation of the sign, so the sign, the post, the labor to put it in, and then remove it further. Just to answer the question, the proposed fee, we don't have that number yet. We're estimating around $100, maybe a little bit more, just depends on what the signs cost. That's what we're thinking right now. Currently, we don't have that number yet. No, we have not done it.
So that's new also, the fees.
Signs cost, that's what
Because all of this sounded like what we've been doing for some time now, the reauthorization, which I think is a good idea, but I'm a little hesitant because all of this sounded like what we've been doing for some time now.
If anybody can use it. So anybody can use it.
So it's a draft. It'll have to have council
Sure.
approval. If you want to strike that out, that's your
If
prerogative.
anybody can use it.
I'm not concerned.
If anybody can use it.
So it's a draft. It'll have to have council approval. If you want to strike that out, that's your
If
prerogative.
anybody,
I saw that too.
Right.
So it's a draft. It'll have to have council approval.
I'm not saying restrict it. I'm just saying correct the fee.
I saw that too.
let's go one at a time. Go ahead, Alan.
I'm not saying restrict it.
Pays the sign
I'm
fee.
saying correct the fee.
The other end of the block keeps parking there, and he's handicapped.
Let's go one at a time. Go ahead, Alan.
What's that? Where's the sign? The other end of the block keeps parking there, and he just paid for his have a handicap spot. What's that? Where's the sign?
Staff can probably say, but
Have a
I
handicap
don't,
spot.
all of these have come to council. I don't believe there's been, but maybe 4 or 5 in the last 20 years. That somebody has requested 6 in 20 years or 30. I mean, it doesn't happen regularly.
Sure.
So it's not like we're gonna be expending a lot of money putting up handicaps.
Well, they may not come to council
doesn't
regularly. They
happen
come to the traffic committee monthly.
Sure.
So it's not like we're gonna be
Yes,
expending
requests for handicap spots in front of a house. They may not come to council, they can get closer to their property to unload their groceries or whatever. We get them routinely, I would say.
So you just don't bring them to council.
Spots in front of a house. They may not come to council, they can get closer to their property to unload their groceries or whatever. We get them
90% of the time that
I would say.
So you just don't bring them to council.
their policies, you have to be a homeowner. 90% of the time that they come back and go forward is their policy.
So who's gonna pay for the permit fee? The renter or the landlord?
90% of the time.
Because he would be whoever is requesting. So who's gonna pay for the permit fee?
This is a draft. Councilman Malcolm?
So why can't the person that applies for this have it reserved
This
for
is a
them? I'm
Councilman Malcolm?
fortunate enough to have this requirement, so I know that even though I have handicap plates on my car, I also have that thing hanging on the window, fortunate enough to have it as a serial number on it. Even though I have larger municipalities that I've been to, I also have, they have a little note on the bottom of the sign saying reserved for, and that permit number has to be on there, and so if you're gonna park in that spot, that permit has to be in your window. I mean, if I'm gonna pay $100, $150, whatever, because I need this parking, which you've already denied me once. And,
I knew that was gonna come.
yeah, I just had to throw that in there just to shake Brian, I need this parking. But,
They're telling us they can't do that because it's public right away. I knew that was gonna come.
yeah, I just had to throw that in there just to shake Brian.
So we're not putting in reserve spots.
They're telling us they can't do that
Handicap
because it's
accessible
public
spots.
right away.
And
I knew that was
what
gonna
people
come.
should
Yeah, I just
realize
had to
as
throw
well
that
is
in
that
there
most
just
of these spots are not going to be, if they live in a reserve spot, they're not going to be in front of their house. They're probably going to be at the end of the block where the ADA ramp is. So you should realize that a lot of these spots are not going to. So if Mrs. Jones has a need, she's in the middle of the block, she might have to walk half a block. If she gets a spot, it might be at the end of the block, so she may not be interested. Mrs. Jones, I think a lot of these residents come in because they want proximity, she might have to walk half a block. If she gets actually the ADA. And there also has to be no other available parking, because when you have off-street parking, you're not eligible. most of the things that we've already, that we've covered are kind of self-explanatory. So they're rare cases. Those are rare cases. Like Andrew said, we get them. Like I said, we get them. Most of the things that we've already, that we've covered may or may not get any good. They're rare cases. What they find out was, like Andrew said, we get them.
I wanted
Go
to
ahead.
on paragraph D, number 6, the narrative with the application explain how.
Go ahead.
Why? On D6 on your proposal.
D6, explain how accessible parking cannot currently be accommodated on or off street.
So I mean, one of the key things is
D6,
you gotta demonstrate. that you
explain
have
how
the ability
accessible
to
parking cannot
accommodate
currently be accommodated on or off street.
One of the key things is you gotta demonstrate right
Explain
in
how accessible parking cannot currently. Well, I think what he's getting at is it says cannot currently be accommodated on or off street. Which that makes it a
That
little
would be a
getting at
typo.
is it says, cannot currently be
I'm a little
accommodated
concerned
on
if you
or
want to
off street.
The trouble of going to a doctor, and the doctor
That would be a typo.
is professional license, and
Be
giving
accommodated
you
on or off street.
designating you that you have these special needs. Are we seriously making these licenses to get in and out of their residence or where they're requested that they seriously breaching these licenses?
We've thought about that as well. And so right now, the draft would be, if we were to provide reserved parking, which was kind of what that would equate to, that would have to be a council decision to allow that on the public street. And if you chose to do that, that could be provide reserved. The other thing is, if we're going to actually put an ADA accessible spot mid-block, now we have to reconfigure sidewalks to reconstruct it to make a ramp, which becomes a burden on the system. It doesn't have a cost to it. It's going to have time to reconfigure sidewalk to it. So a reserve spot is different than an ADA spot, in our opinion, because the ADA has other requirements that go along with it. The cross slopes agree, the ramp and everything like that. If you want one in front of your house and you live mid-block, now we're forced to almost build you an off-street parking or an off-street spot in the boulevard where you can bring a ramp down to it to meet the sidewalk grade to get you to where you need to go. So it's quite a bit more complex and expensive to do it that way, which is why we propose to do it this way.
Brian, what if two people on the same block, and you're gonna have a handicap, and they fill out an application for this, and you're only doing it at the end of the block because that's where the ramp is, would the second one be turned down because there's already one there? Fill out an
Not necessarily. I could see a scenario where you'd have one on each end of the block. So one would have to go one way, one would go the other way. If that's, we still have to realize they're not assigned spots, so anybody can park there at any time as long as they have the ADA placards in their car.
So you wouldn't turn down the second one just because there's one already there necessarily?
I don't think so. I think that'd be something we'd have to review on case by case, but I wouldn't say just flat out no right now. So this is still pretty much just I don't think so. I think that'd be something we'd have to review on case by case, but I wouldn't say just flat out no right now. So this is still pretty much I don't think so. I think that'd be something we'd have to review on case by case, but I wouldn't say just flat out no right now.
My only thing would be that, just to make sure that there's accommodation in there on the narrative that we require, that if they have literacy issues, that we assist them with that, that we can take a verbal, just to make sure that there's accommodation in there on the narrative that we require.
Oh, and one other thing too, they got on here. Fees will be collected with the application, reimbursement if the application is denied. Why not collect the fees? Fees won't collect if it's approved. That way, Ms. Nancy and her staff don't have to keep track of money, hold it. Why not spend time reimbursing it and writing checks? That way, do it one time, and her staff.
We discussed that as well, and the thought process being, you come in to apply, you're here one time, you write your check, if it's denied, we send your check back to you. That way, so if you come in to apply, then you leave, then we approve it, then you come in and you're here one, you pay your check, then you leave. If it's denied, we send your check back to one, half dozen the other, we can do it either way. Then we approve it, it would just be held. Well, that's up to Nancy.
Money, because we're gonna have it sitting in the drawer. Okay.
It would just be held. That was the reason behind that. So it was a one-stop for the resident as opposed to city hall.
I wish I had.
That was the reason behind that. So it was a one-stop for the resident as opposed to city hall.
sounds like the fee is a little contentious anyway, so that might not even happen.
Right, we would get a better number for the
sounds
fee,
like
and if
the
council
fee is
wishes to
low.
strike it, so be it. That's just something to help us cover our costs as well, as try to be cost neutral with it. Right, we would get a
Anything else,
better
council?
number.
I would like I said,
If
I'm
council
fine
wishes to
with the
strike
fee,
it, so be it.
but maybe not
Something to help us cover
having a
our
fee that,
costs.
you know, a fee that reduces, unnecessary
Anything else,
requests
council?
and make sure that the request that's in the process is really done, but maybe not having a fee, you know, a fee that reduces really cover the cost of unnecessary requests, but just the request that's in the process is really done, but maybe to make sure that we're getting the right, you know, that really cover the right application.
Make it down to what it costs, and then we can say, we want to make it $25 fee.
Right.
Cover the paperwork.
If I may, you all have a copy of this.
Yes.
If you'd like to mark it up, send it back to Lindsay. And we'll take all those comments and review them as well. Like I said, we're starting out. I envision us coming back at another in-depth meeting and discussing this again, and before we get to a draft. And we'll take all those comments and review them as well.
Thank
I
you.
like the work.
I envision us coming back at another
Thank
in-depth
you.
meeting and discussing this again, and before we get to a draft.
Lindsay, if you
And
don't
we'll
mind,
take all
before
those
you go,
comments
if you don't mind coming around and saying us welcome.
I envision us coming back at another in-depth meeting and discussing this again, and before we get to a draft.
Before you go, if you don't mind coming around and saying us welcome. Thank you. Next on tonight's agenda, Dave's gonna come back up and talk to us about his top 10 list. Thank
Dave's
you.
top 10, that's interesting.
Next on tonight's agenda, Dave's gonna come back up and talk to us about his top 10 list.
We've advised that to not call it a top 10 list, because the top 10 list was historic. We refer to both Phil and Nancy, not call it. That used to be reserved for when we had properties, the top 10 properties that either need to be demolished or totally upgraded. That's not what I'm talking about. Had properties, the top 10 properties that which is different. I'm talking about the top violators. That's not primarily code violations. And I've given you two different reports. One is for one previous fiscal year and the most recent fiscal year that it just completed. This gives you a sense for the number of violations at that property. Those violations run the gamut from snow, trash, to weeds, to a number of things. Junk. Those violations run the gamut. So those properties that are listed here are in fact something that I believe a while ago that Councilor Fitzgerald suggested he'd like to see who those are in fact something that could be as much as a year or so ago before since you asked suggested he'd like to see who those are. We were able to generate that since we do have a database that just follows special assessments. I do want to explain that something on here. And that is, you'll notice that just follows either a different name is on there, but it counts as a violation. You'll notice that the problem with that is that it comes, we get payment when we set those counts as special assessments to the county. The problem, and they collect them as the property transacted. People pay the county at that point. We get a chunk of money, but it's never, from my understanding, it's not broken down to tell us who actually paid. So we just get a lump dollar amount. So some of these have been paid by the previous property, which was the whole design. It kind of puts a small lien on the property. Some of these have been paid before they sell it. The previous property. It may look like it's on here, but it may have been paid in those small lien on the property. Some of these have been paid before they sell it. I wanted to make sure I explain that. It may look like it's on here.
Know whether the payment for 615 Mulberry has been paid. the other question that I have is one of these individuals is deceased, been deceased for numerous years. Who do we send? The other question that I
Still
have
renting the
is
property
one of
and
these
their estate.
individuals is deceased. Well, they own it. It's still in their name. Years. Who do we send? The other question that I
Still
have
renting
is
the property.
still in these
Well, their estate.
Their estate
Well, they
is
own
what
it. It's still in their
continues
name.
the rental property registration.
Well, their estate.
Doesn't mean that we haven't posted it.
I know, because I called on it myself.
But if there's violation, it doesn't mean that we haven't posted it.
I know, because I called on it
Not
myself.
transacted or changed ownership. But if there's violation, those fees are still part of their parcel or their property. Transacted, they're still attached ownership. But if there's violation,
What about the ones that don't have an address? There's quite a few.
their parcels, still attached, like empty land, and not necessarily ones with addresses.
Okay, there's quite a few.
Their parcels,
I didn't have, this detail just showed up today, so I didn't have time, I hadn't had time to research it.
yeah, their parcel, if you can see on the left is the parcel number. If it doesn't have an address,
It showed up today, so I didn't have time, okay.
yeah, their parcel, if you can see on the left, the parcel number, if it doesn't have an address. You'll see some on here that are owned by banks and businesses that are in fact, you'll see some on here that they are in fact rental property by banks and businesses that are in fact. You'll see this also not only with rental properties, but they are in fact rental properties since the previous owners abandoned the. You'll see this also property, rental properties, and banks will come in since they take ownership of the property, whether it's a rental or not.
So they could be in foreclosure and just haven't sold it.
Not everybody on this list is take ownership of rental property, whether it's a rental or not.
So they could be in foreclosure and just haven't sold it.
But it's been a long time coming, Counselor, and I give you credit for at least raising the question back in the day. But it's been a long time coming. I think we can tweak it and make it better, but I wanted to make sure you saw it. These are the same names that are on the list that we approve every month. So I felt it was okay to leave them on here because they are public names. The list that we approve every month. So I felt it was okay to leave them on here because they are public names. We can convert the database over from this report to okay to leave them on here. Absolutely. We haven't done it, but we can convert the database over
Anything else?
from this report to okay.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate
We
it.
haven't done it, but
Next, we're gonna have Andrew's gonna come up and talk to us about some property disposal. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate
we
it.
haven't done it.
Next, we're gonna have
Council,
Andrew's gonna come up and talk to us
just
about some
going
property
to
disposal.
briefly run through what we're doing for disposing of the number of surplus cities.
Next, we're gonna have
Council,
Andrew's gonna come up and talk to us
just
about some
going
property
to
disposal.
give a brief overview of what we're doing for any questions you might have about the number of surplus cities.
Next, we're gonna have Andrew's gonna come up and talk to us about some property disposal.
So as you're aware, we're working to dispose of a couple dozen surplus properties the city has acquired over the years. The objective of this is to return vacant and unused parcels to their most productive and beneficial use, and also to return them to the tax rolls. We're also, the other objective is to reduce the amount of money the spends on maintaining these parcels. Unlike the right-of-way, it's the city's responsibility. The other objective is to reduce the amount of property owners spends. The final objective is for us to recover as much money as previously spent on those parcels. A lot of these, for example, that we've acquired after we demolished dilapidated buildings. Never got paid for that. Went through assessment. A lot of these, for example, still never got paid. Never got demolished back dilapidated buildings. So basically, there's really two broad categories of these parcels. First would be buildable parcels. Highest priority for these will be to sell these buildable parcels to someone that intends to construct their home or business on these parcels in the near future. Through the sale of these parcels, parcels to someone that's through the sale of these parcels. Excuse me. The intention is to create more of the new housing stock and the infill development. Through the sale of these parcels land. Excuse me. The intention is to create more particularly well-suited housing stock and a lot less greenfield development. It's also an excellent example of infill development. All your necessary utilities are already in place. Taking advantage of the previous investments the second category of parcels that we have that we're trying to dispose of are non-buildable parcels. These are tend to be some really odd shaped scraps of land that have separated disposed of parcels over there. For example, there's one where it's just a 3-foot strip of land between the odd shaped scraps of land. These we intend to only sell to abutting property owners. And just the reasoning for this is because they can't be built on. These we historically when people have acquired a non-buildable parcel, they don't actually just have buildable property next to. They tend to not take care of it. And historically when people have acquired a non-buildable property, they don't actually just have buildable property next to. If more than one of the adjoining property owners is interested in one of these parcels, the city will work to split the parcel more than one of these interested parties, so long as the split is done at no expense to the city. Is interested in what essentially I'm saying by this. The city will work to split the parcel more than one of these subdivision plans, so long as the salt is down at no expense to the city. And that's what I'm saying nowadays. The city will work otherwise. So long as the salt is down at no expense. And finally, the split would have to kind of be in line with sound planning principles. There's a couple of situations where it makes more sense to reunite. Finally, the split would have to kind of carve off a lot that was originally carved off situations where probably there's a number of cases where that would make that particular last. For example, in a district where you acquired a 60-foot street, probably for some reason never carved off that 5-foot street. Returning that to 55, for example, in a district where you acquired a 60-foot street, abutting property owners. And finally, those purchasing these type of parcels will be required to irrevocably join them to their adjoining parcels, so they can't be converted to parcels ever again. And finally, those purchasing these type of parcels will be required to irrevocably join them, essentially tying them together with a restricted covenant saying they can't ever again separate them back. And finally, those purchasing these type of parcels will be required to irrevocably. Real quick, kind of go through the kind of just the general pricing guidelines where someone contacts us. Obviously, the final sale price is at pleasure of council, but this is what we would base negotiations on. The first and most obvious one would be the assessed value as set by the county assessor, and in most cases, this is probably pretty good, pretty close to fair market value. Just looking through, there's a number of cases, particularly in some of the non-buildable lots where the assessed value is a little squirrely. Just looking through kind of that, we would probably default to $1.05 per square foot, where that comes from. That's kind of the default price when we sell surplus right away, which is a little different. We would probably default to $1.05. The second fallback position, since some of these are pretty small, what we propose is a minimum sale price is $250 position covers all the staff. Since some of these are pretty small, what we propose is a minimum sale for sale. And finally, there will be certain situations where staff will feel that none of the above guidelines reflect true fair market value, or where the sale of a parcel at a discount from fair market value would significantly advance positive community goals and staff market value, or where the sale of a parcel at a discount from fair market value. Finally, more for the folks at home. Lindsay has put together an flyers on our available, each of our available parcels, and we put them up on the city's webpage. Is the web address for that available parcels, and we put them up on the city's webpage.
I reviewed that website earlier today. I thought it looked good. I like that information being provided that way. I don't have any questions. Just thank you for the information.
Councilman Malcolm?
One question I have. This buildable property lots, is there a way for us to put, require a bond or something, and give them a deadline, say, all right, you buy this space, is there a way to be building on it in 6 months, 12 months?
sell it to somebody and nothing happens. Because it's, I don't wanna see, I hate to see what goes through the process. Sell it to somebody and nothing happens.
From city-owned to local individual, and they are now paying taxes.
Sell it to somebody. But then Mr. Goldman is having to go there and cut the grass. That's what I want to avoid.
Council, anything else?
But then Mr. Goldman is having to go there and cut the grass.
You mentioned about potentially splitting a parcel, or if not splitting a parcel, you mentioned the property owner, and you talked about surveying and whatnot. So, how would we go in the case that we have a location, say, it's going to say some random address, you talked about surveying and whatnot. So, how would we parcel there that's indication? The property owner that wants to buy the lot, wants to build a fence, we own that property. Do we have locations to say, okay, this is where you can do that, or how would we own that wants to buy the lot, wants to build a fence? For example, my point being, you talked about splitting parcels that we're not going to go back in and say, hey, we're going to survey or anything like that. But if the property owner, my point being, buys it, you talked about owns the property, and then he wants the lot right beside it, okay? But then he wants to put a fence on it. Buys it with the other owns, and I don't want to, how do we know that we're not going to go out too far, or the next door neighbor beside you wants to put a fence on this is too far? Because you mentioned just earlier right now about splitting parcels, and not going back and surveying.
I guess when I meant by surveying, what I meant is hiring a surveyor to create a plat with them all new legal descriptions. Surveying is like putting up a fence or something. Anyone, I guess when I meant by surveying, whatever doing, it's their responsibility to know where the property is. Locating.
We're selling
surveying,
property.
like putting up a fence. But if we're selling it, whoever's buying it, whatever becomes their responsibility. What I'm saying is survey. There is a situation, so if we don't necessarily, if we're just simply splitting, we're selling a lot, whoever buying, the way you can do it, like each of their legal descriptions. What I'm saying, I can come up with a legal description. So more, we don't necessarily, more splits than that, or it's kind of complicated legal description. That's when the legal description has a plat of higher, and that's not expensive. More, I don't recommend more splits than that, or it's kind of complicated legal description. That's
Just wanted to be clear on that, because I see the picture, so it does show a clear description, but some of them I do talk about them, 3 feet in between two properties. I wanted to be clear on that, because I see the picture, so it kind of show a clear description.
Anyone else? Thank you, Andrew. We appreciate it. That comes to the end of our meeting tonight. Next Thursday, September 20th, we have a regular council meeting. But before that, at 4 o'clock, we are having a ribbon tonight at Mississippi Drive. First couple of phases are done, and it'll be at the end of, at the intersection of Cedar Street and Mississippi Drive at 4 o'clock, September 20th, right before council, a couple hours before council. It'll be at the end. The hope is, of course, that Mississippi Drive then will be opened up the next day. If it isn't, it would be the next week. So we're hoping that it will be, but you never know. Unforeseen things can come up. So we'd love to have the community come out September 20th, 4 o'clock, end of Cedar Street, Mississippi Drive, and then a couple hours later we'll have a council meeting. So we'd love to have the community come out. Councilman Malcolm, did you have anything you wanted to share tonight?
Nothing further tonight, Your Honor.
Councilman Fitzgerald, a couple hours later we'll have a council meeting. Councilman Spread? Councilman Malcolm, did you have anything? Councilman Harvey?
Nothing further tonight, Your Honor.
Councilwoman Bradford Fitzgerald?
I would like to remind folks in the 4th Ward and anyone else who might be interested that my monthly meeting will be Monday night at 7 p.m. at the South End Fire Station in Musco. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to wish my youngest granddaughter a very happy 8th birthday on Fire Station in Musco. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to wish my youngest granddaughter a
Comment,
happy 8th birthday.
appreciate a lot of the patchwork that we're doing, Brian.
House muted right on out, didn't it?
Filling patchwork, appreciate a lot of the, I had a few calls in regards to potential lack of flaggers.
Right on out, didn't it?
But I appreciate a lot of that work, but I haven't seen calls in regards to potential lack of flaggers.
Councilman Brackett?
Just that this month I had my day job is requiring me to be gone for the day that I would normally hold my office hours. So I will happily accommodate anybody that needs me to visit with them, but
had a couple things. Guests for Tuesday, Our City, is Kim Seligman with Muscatine Diabetes Project and Michelle Burns with Muscatine County Conservation. Guests for Tuesday, hearing nothing else coming to council, Kim Seligman with Muscatine Diabetes Project and Michelle Burns with Muscatine County Conservation. Guests for Tuesday, hearing nothing else coming to council, Kim Seligman with Muscatine